All right. Hey everyone. I was going through Reddit and I found this gem. It's a nice little robotics video where it talks about a bunch of stuff that are like really easily debunked. Watch this. All right. Here we go. Should we tax the robot that will take your job? Like immediately. This is just a like amalgamation of like everything, every straw man at once. Not only is it using the iRobot animations right away. Like, so immediately we know that all robots are these bipeds. But I mean, they're also all technological, singularity, intelligent. Yeah, yeah. Right. But we also have to keep in mind though that we should be taxing these robots as well. Bill Gates is the one who started this tax the robots thing, and as far as I can tell, I'm not really sure exactly. Well, okay, let's just watch.
What am I? A robot. In 1942, Isaac Asimov, a Russian sci-fi novelist, writes.
Okay, Asimov, man, man, Asimov, Isaac Asimov, dude. There's no way to define what is a human being. Like this is we really we need to start having people actually debunking like futurology or future like any kind of this future technology stuff. We need to have people actually debunking this shit now because we know how artificial intelligence works. There's there are things that are defined, and there's no way that Isaac Asimov's rules. You can't define what actually is a person. You can't tell the machine how to define a human being. It doesn't work that way. Anyway,
It's a short story called Run Around, where he introduces three principles designed to rule robots. Those rules that will later be known as the three laws of robotics read as.
yeah, the three. It's already garbage because there are already robots that we use drones that use neural nets for targeting systems. We use oh god, it's stupid. It's not even all right.
Follow.
Anyway, continue.
But should there be a fourth rule that could read as, a robot must pay its taxes as to preserve the first, second, and third law? Now, this is not science fiction anymore. Artificial intelligence has been rapidly.
Okay, I don't know why somebody as intelligent as Bill Gates would start this like. It almost makes me wonder if I'm actually wrong that he didn't actually say this, but robots how do you define what is a robot? Like if you start saying that robots should pay taxes, basically what you're saying is that corporations are going to have to pay higher tax, right? It's the exact same thing. You're taxing. You're it doesn't how do you define what a robot is the cotton gin a fucking robot? Is a steam engine a robot? How do you define what is or is not a robot? And oh, it has to use a neural net. Well, a lot of these things can get by without using neural nets. A lot of the advancements of robotics have absolutely nothing to do with having to deal with sensory perception. They just they're they're more capable of finer parts, and being able to do movements and more complex things. They have those robotic arms that can put things together. They don't have eyes on those robots. Those robots don't have sensory perception outside of maybe they know whether or not they're actually holding something. Like, how do you define it? How do you where do you even begin?
Growing for the past few years, and it's now ready to impact our lives. In the book The Technological Singularity, Professor.
Boom, and again, right there, the next straw man. It's like he's hitting in a checkbook. It's like he's going through and hitting all the check marks on everything that is inaccurate about where things are going next. Like, okay, the technological singularity, sure, but it's a straw man. It's not. By the time robots are smart enough to fuck us over by being super intelligent, we'd have already gone past an epoch or two. That's some future shit. That's the future of the future shit. Like we standard just relatively smart machines will have already fucked us over long before these things will.
Of cognitive robotics, Murray Shanahan describes how one day regular humans might be overtaken by AI machines. and he investigates different scenarios of AI expansions. One of those expansions might be the impact AI will have on the economy and on jobs, creating unemployment and bigger inequality if nothing is done to invert that.
And again, another thing right off the check mark, like is he's just checking everything off. Automation is not just robotics, and automation is not just artificial intelligence, and it's definitely not technological singularity, and it's definitely not bipedal robots either. Automation is hitting us in all kinds of ways. I don't even know if the term automation should really be used, because any time technology does something that replaces the need for humans, you have essentially automated the process. So simply upgrading to a better version of Photoshop means that the artist is capable of doing 10% more work or 5% more work than before. And over a course of 10 years of patches like this, you eventually make it so that people can do more and more in a shorter amount of time. There's so many different ways that automation's hitting us, and it's not a whole bunch of people in a factory. Like I've had to point, I keep pointing this out, but it's as though nobody is really like I don't think a lot of people are really paying attention that like they're just sort of jumping right to the singularity, like the technological singularity where robots don't need us anymore, replacing jobs. No, two different topics entirely. Two way different topics.
But robots don't have to be labeled as bad. They have great productivity and efficiency, which can transform to more wealth added to our economies. So if
Yeah, it's affecting the economy dramatically just by the ability that I can attach a regular robot brain to a digital camera so that it can sense when somebody like walks into a door, or facial recognition, or any of these things. Like it's insane what. Oh,
If this wealth is handled properly and evenly redistributed, the robots could be one of the tools to combat inequality, a theme I'll go into.
okay. The reason why we have so much wealth inequality right now is because it's been going on for a very long time. Every new invention, I mean, literally since uh, anything you could think of that made things better, cars, for example, um, all like it's just been a really long process of just improving technology, and wealth would just go up to the top because the companies that were taking advantage of these advancements were making more and more money and hiring fewer and fewer people. And it's been a very slow burn for quite some time now, 40, 50 years maybe, when it's really been noticeable. I imagine that ever since like the cotton gin and the steam engine, kind of since then, like, and it's speeding the fuck up. It's like going way faster right now because we have better and better technology, right? So it's not robots. It's not robots.
Into further details in my next video. But let's back up to 2009 when Google started its first automated car project. Then in 2013, Google Ventures invested $258 million into Uber, the online transportation network company. And in 2016, Uber bought Otto, a self-driving truck startup, for $682 million. Do you start to see the pattern? Or take Amazon for instance, the electronic commerce and cloud computing company. In 2013 and 14, they filed 2 patents regarding a system for tracking removal or replacement of items at inventory locations. At the end of 2016, Amazon drops a video on YouTube featuring the new grocery store of the future, Amazon Go, featuring.
All right, so see, he's going through this and he's explaining it in a pretty straightforward way. So anyway, the rest of the video kind of goes on for a little while, and I think I already pretty much got all my points out. Like, you can watch the rest of the video. I'll leave a link to it and stuff like that. I probably already showed too much of the video anyway for it to be totally fair to the original author. I apologize if that's the case, but sometimes I'll see something like this and I'm just like, ah. He doesn't get it. He understands the topic so well. Yet another person who doesn't really seem to understand the whole thing. Now, later in the video, he does actually kind of like mention, and he kind of pulls things in a little bit. Like it starts off really crazy, and then he kind of brings it in a little bit. But I mean, we really need to have like a skeptic community for fucking technology at this point in time, because I'm so sick and tired of people thinking that like just because it's a neural net the damn thing's gonna come to life. I'm not understanding why a neural net is better like than a linear logic algorithm, and how those systems can be combined to do different things, and how a robot brain is really no fucking different from a toaster. They don't come to life. It has the ability to determine and solve problems that weren't so easily solved before. And one of those main things is definitely image recognition, which is why these cars are so different. Oh, this is an old truck. That's not a self-driving truck, is it? Oh, is its eyes up here? No, that's not how I would set something like that up. There doesn't seem to be another person in there. I think in Logan they showed the self-driving trucks, and those things looked convincing as fuck. Like that's exactly what it's just a box of wheels. Um, but you see this 360 is like omnidirectional fucking camera, the digital camera on the top of this thing. Well, one of the things that artificial intelligence is really good at doing is image recognition, because you can train it to recognize objects, and that's how after a long period of time, uh, it can learn how to look at things, right? And that has been combined with linear logic algorithms for like learning how to drive. So like these cars aren't actually intelligent, but they're using artificial intelligence as a means to recognize their surroundings and be able to actually determine what's going on. And they have like lots and lots of different ways of doing sensory perception, and they probably have a fairly complex linear logic algorithm that goes along with all of this in order to be able to determine, whoa, slow down, there's something in front of the cars, or what the speed limit is, because the camera is so sharp that it's capable of seeing things very clearly. And that's also one of the reasons why these vehicles have a difficult time in rain and snow, because it gets in the way of the camera. It makes it harder for the AI to be able to recognize what it's looking at. So you probably need more and more advanced AI in order to be able to recognize things more clearly. And that's really about it. Anything that gets in the way of the camera at nighttime would have a big effect on that as well. Like, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna end this now. This is a pretty cool video and everything like that. It's just I see these things too much. I see them way too much, and there really does need to be somebody. There needs to be more people like, no, come on, pull back. That's not how it works. That's not what's going to happen. This is the shit that's going to bite us in the ass. Like, we need to start paying attention to the real stuff that's going to bite us in the ass. The stuff that's been biting us in the ass for the last 30 years. And, that slow burn has had massive effects on social and economic situations. It is the reason why we are at the certain, the situations that we are right now in politics, in the internet has created basically like ghettos of ideological like think tanks all over the place, and it's there's just so many different ways that the technology has become a threat modifier for a lot of things that have happened in the past, but are way more potent now. And I think that is the thing that's going to get us, because what we're watching right now is we're watching the old guard media is getting hit by automation, because a dude with a fucking camera or a fucking microphone making videos can now get a larger audience than CNN. That's automation. That's the face of automation. All of this stuff right now that we're seeing with YouTube having to have this extra censorship and everything like that, that is the flailing old guard getting hit by the same things that that are affecting the poor. Though that's the same things that are hitting everybody. Like we're all being affected, and the effects that it's having are not really being discussed enough. Everybody's so looking into the near future or the far future, sometimes don't recognize how far the future really is, and don't recognize what's currently happening right out from underneath us right now. Like, one of the other things about this is that you noticed that there's been a lack of privacy for everybody? That's right. If the technology exists in order to be able to spy on individuals, then the wealthy are just as prone to the same technologies. So we are seeing like email leaks, and we're seeing things like WikiLeaks, and God knows what else. And I think that's something that a lot of the even the upper class don't realize, that if the technology exists to spy on the lower class, we're going to watch people getting spied on from everywhere. And to be honest, a lot of the older politicians and stuff like that, these people, I wouldn't describe them as the fastest gazelles. Okay, they don't exactly understand how the technology is working. In fact, they think that, oh well, less privacy. That's great. That means we can spy on all of the individuals, and then all of their shit gets fucking leaked all over the place. And before you know it, we're looking at their fucking emails. So it's it there's a lot of stuff already happening. Anyway, so with that said, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. I just wanted to watch the beginning of that. The video is pretty good, and I'm gonna end the video here. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more.